evening, everyone, and welcome to Random Number Generation. I'm Skybilz, your host, and we are doing Kingdom Hearts 2 Randomizer with Rose Curl. Before we get started here, a few announcements on behalf of Games Done Quick. Check out our highlights channel, which features standout moments from our Hotfix shows. Use exclamation point highlights in Twitch chat to learn more. Check out at Games Done Quick on Instagram to get bite-sized clips from our Hotfix shows and see what happens at the events. And with that being said, Rose, Kale, how are y'all doing? It's wonderful to have you both here.
It is wonderful to be here. Thank you so much for having us. I'm doing great. Kale, how are you doing?
I'm excited. I'm really excited to be here with GDQ. So, should be a good seed. Should be a nice, fun time.
I hope so. We have a lot that we are going to be talking about, so I feel like we should just go ahead and just jump right into it. I can do a countdown. I can start from 5 and we go on go. How's that? Kale, does that sound good to you, Sky Q?
Absolutely. Go for it.
All right, we're going to start 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck and have fun.
Of course, you always have to have fun.
Well, yes, absolutely. So there was a quick question in chat. Will there be any berry eating? I really hope so. Let's start cheering on those torn pages, chat, all right?
Yeah, we don't know if the bear is going to get yeeted in this seed, but we certainly hope so. So Rose is going to do all this sort of like pre-menuing. There's a lot of menuing. Ooh, I see a magnet that we started with.
Yeah, I just noticed that too.
And a report. Which report is that?
That was report number 6, and it says that 100 Acre Wood has no path to the light.
Okay, that's fine. I know y'all may be concerned, but let me tell you, it's fine. So the hint system that we're using, it's a pretty new hint system. It came out in probably like the past month, maybe the past couple of weeks. It is path hints. It is a little bit more complicated than the previous hint systems, but there's a lot of fun with it, and it requires knowledge of the vanilla checks. So if you remember where the magics are, where the forms are, where the torn pages are, where you get them in your normal KH2 playthrough, that's actually an advantage for you here. So, for instance, the magnet that Rose picked up, it doesn't do anything for us now, but that magnet is going to reference Port Royal, Halloween Town, and the World That Never Was, which are the 3 worlds where you normally get a magnet in the game. So Rose, doing kind of your typical start here. Pride Lands is the classic opening play. You get through that early fight, which she did flawlessly. It does not always happen flawlessly. It is very easy for that fight to go wrong. But Rose, no problem.
Practice pays off.
Yes, absolutely. So, you get through that fight, and then you basically have the entirety of Pride Lands at your disposal. It's some 20-odd checks. If you're familiar with randomizers in general, you know more checks is good. That is more chances at getting some really good stuff. I see Sweet Memories. Our 100 Acre Wood Keyblade.
100 Acre Wood Keyblade, yeah. We actually started with Kingdom Key that had no experience on it.
Oh no, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, but we picked up a Keyblade inside the gorge, and it actually turned out to be Follow the Wind. I put it on without really looking at the ability, but I glanced at it as I put it on, and it has an experience boost. So we went from no experience to experience boost, and we found the picture.
Oh, the picture.
Ooh.
Okay, so the picture is actually now a very important check. What has been added along with the path hints, we've also got locked worlds. So if you look at Rose's tracker right underneath her webcam, you'll see these little lock icons on a bunch of these worlds. That means that we can't go to the second visit until we get the correct item. So if you look at the icon for Twilight Town, which is going to be in the top right. Twilight Town is weird because it's actually got 2 locking items. The picture lets you get into TT2. So if it looks like that, if it looks like the lock icon is off center, I promise you it's not. There were 2, but one of them is now gone because we picked up that check. So we got the picture.
Have a lot of keyblades. I'm sorry to interrupt.
A lot of keyblades for sure. Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Dry boost. Okay, we didn't really get too much here, but we do have a lot of.
Wow! Oh my goodness! I didn't even realize.
And besides, picture, there are no other important checks that we've gotten yet. So we're just going to be doing what's called shotgunning at this point, which is basically going into every world and picking up all those free checks without having to do any types of fights or bosses. It just makes it so like you can have more tools and maybe find these reports that are going to hint out worlds and what they could potentially do. So that's what we're looking for here, is basically information.
Yeah. Looking for information, looking for a couple of good tools. Rose picked up Guard Break and Finishing Leap in Pride Lands, which are really nice combo finishers. Ooh, and Flash Step there, a pretty nice combo modifier. It's Slide Dash Light.
I mean, Flash Step is nice. I prefer Slide Dash, but I will not complain about having Flash Step at all.
Look, I've had enough seeds where I didn't have a gap closer of any sort to know that having one is a blessing, and you should be thankful. You take what it gives you, and you say, "Thank you, Randomizer."
I mean, I guess I could say, "Thank you, Randomizer." I guess. Did you notice we picked up a money pouch?
I did not see the money pouch.
Got a money pouch.
Okay. So the money pouch is another one of those key items that our developers have repurposed and actually made it worse. Are you serious? No! That kills 100 Acre Wood.
I mean, we can still go through here and find all these abilities and other potential important checks.
There could still be good stuff. There's some world where it's still necessary.
Ooh.
And the identity disc. Okay, so we've got some important checks in a world where we also have a hint. So let's talk about the path hint system. So 100 Acre Wood has no path to the light. That means that the important checks in that world do not point to any proofs. So the identity disc, which we picked up, that is Tron's weapon. So if you look in the bottom left of the tracker, that purple circle, that's Space Paranoids. So Space Paranoids had that lock removed. We could go into the second visit of it if we wanted to at any time, assuming we feel comfortable doing it. Well, assuming Rose feels comfortable doing it. I'm just sitting here talking. But that means it's not going to have a proof. In addition...
That means, though, that it could have other important items. Sorry.
Yes, it could still have important items. It could still be necessary. There might be kind of a crazy logic to it. The logic system in this is very robust, in that it will do everything it can to make sure it's possible. And there are very few kind of blanket, this can't be here, that can't be there. So, seed doesn't require it, chat requires it. I like this person.
Oh, same.
Whoever said that, I love you. I love you so much.
Oh. But yeah, so the identity disc points to Space Paranoids. Torn pages point to the 5 worlds where you get the torn pages, and it also points to the 100 Acre Wood. So if we're looking for the proofs here, which is our goal, that's going to already eliminate. We know there cannot be a proof in Hollow Bastion. There cannot be a proof in Agrabah, not in Pride Lands, not in Disney Castle, not in the Land of Dragons, and not in 100 Acre Wood. So all 6 of those worlds, 7 if you include Space Paranoids, gone, done, no proofs. So those no path to the light hints are super, super powerful for ruling out worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as Rose mentioned, we might still have to go there. There might be good stuff that we want. There might be stuff that we need, per se. There might be world-locking items in there. You know, if the proof is in Beast Castle, that means that we've got to get the Beast Claw at some point. And just because 100 Acre Wood and Pride Lands and Agrabah and Hollow Bastion, all these worlds don't have a proof, that doesn't necessarily mean they can't have Beast Claw.
Huh?
So.
Sorry, I'm just flabbergasted at the fact that there's 7 worlds already knocked out, and we're like 10 minutes into the seed.
It doesn't usually happen this often, but the thing is, torn pages hint towards 6 different worlds, and so torn pages can be a really, really powerful check to find in terms of knowledge. If you've not seen a Kingdom Hearts randomizer before, I guess we should probably talk about the win condition.
Oh, yeah, probably a good idea. Go ahead, take it away.
Yeah, so our win condition is find the 3 proofs, and that'll unlock the final door to Final Fight to the End of World That Never Was. So Rose is going to be running around the game looking for the proof of connection, the proof of non-existence, and the proof of peace. Normally, you get those for defeating Terra Lingering Will, for defeating the 13 datas and completing the Mushroom 13 minigames. But here, they could be anywhere. It could just be in a chest chilling out here in Halloween Town.
I was gonna laugh so hard if there was a proof like coming up here.
I wanted it. I wanted it so badly.
I was like, please be here, please. That would just make everything. So great.
But yeah, so we'll
again,
have to, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. You're the main commentator. I'm the runner.
You're the runner, so you're the star of the show, so you take precedence.
Please.
I was just going to say, we find the 3 proofs, we've got to climb the world that never was, and then do final fights.
For some reason, I thought you said find the world that never was, and then my brain heard climb, so I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds better. Sounds a lot better. But yeah, I'm just shotgunning and trying to find these important checks, these reports, trying not to die, because I have a tendency to die in some of these early worlds. Luckily, it hasn't happened that recently, so.
Yeah, the kind of starting meta for KH2 Rando is you go into worlds that are relatively high battle level. If you think about when you enter Pride Lands and when you enter Halloween Town in a vanilla playthrough, those are some of the last worlds you get to. Which means the enemies are on the stronger side. And that means that the enemies are going to give lots of experience, which is great. So that's why we like the Pride Land start. That's why we like the Halloween Town start. I mean, Rose is already just after basically 2 fights up to level 9 and very close to level 10. But that also means that it's very easy to die because you're doing a later world at level 9.
Yeah. It's scary when you think about it that way, because it's like, how am I supposed to deal with this? But you get used to it because not every fight is insanely difficult, but there are fights that have issues.
Right.
And it's just finding the ones that you can learn, ones that you can adjust with what you have, because obviously Rando, you don't always get the same things. You don't always get flash step. You don't always get a glide. You don't get a lot of this movement sometimes. So we got really lucky with that glide. I was actually talking to Kelly yesterday. I was like, I really hope we get a glide early, because it would just make my day so much better. So getting a glide starting off made me very happy.
Definitely. If y'all ever have questions, by the way, about kind of the settings that we're using, or if you have questions about the hint system, about world locking, feel free to ask. I'm happy to answer questions. I don't think Rose has chat up, but she's happy to answer questions. We can pass those on to her. And I also see Zach the Robot in chat.
Zach the Robot?
Yeah, Zach is around. Zach is a one of our top runners nowadays, and he's also the current lead developer for the randomizer itself. So the randomizer application that we use to generate this, that's Zach's baby.
Okay, I'll just take the death because I couldn't use a magnet to save my life. That was very bad.
Yeah, those Nightwalkers are pretty aggressive.
That wasn't even the Nightwalker that killed me. That was a shadow.
Oh, was it the shadow?
It was the shadow that hit me. The Nightwalkers, they hit me like twice, and then I couldn't get a magnet off to save my life. And I was like, okay, well, I'm dead here probably.
We have a couple of questions from chat here.
Yeah, I do see those questions. So data fights are on. Sephiroth is on. Terra is on. All the super bosses, those are on. And we are playing on critical difficulty. So yeah, if you watched Komi's charity tourney, we're basically using those settings. That was the tourney we ran this past weekend. Huge, awesome, amazing turnout for that. And it also got us a chance to really see how these settings would play out. Because we're also using another kind of new feature on the randomizer, which is the slightly hard item difficulty placement. So there are a million different customization features on this randomizer, from quality of life to difficulty to if you just want to turn a world off because you don't like it, you can just do that. It's as easy as clicking a button. And so the slightly hard item difficulty placement, essentially what it means is that all these important checks that we want, magics, the reports that are going to give us information, drive forms, torn pages, summons, the proofs, all of those are about twice as likely to be in the back half of a world as in the front half. So Rose has been going for 15 minutes and we've got 5 checks of the possible 61. And that is because a lot of this stuff is going to be pretty backloaded.
Yeah, we're going to probably see a lot of these checks coming in hot in second visits.
Yeah, second visits, and the exact break point, it kind of varies per world. Here in Land of Dragons, LOD, I believe the Village Cave chests are the first that are considered the back half. Either the Village Cave chest or the Village Cave pop-up on that forced fight. So little increased chance of getting something there. So Rose is definitely going to get rewarded for pushing much deeper. Well, not definitely. Will hopefully be rewarded for pushing much deeper into this. This is random number generation. You know, it's the first word, random.
Exactly. I normally never push this far, but since we're playing on slightly hard difficulty, there we go, we got a fire.
Okay, fire.
And we have a fire boost too from that. That's so funny. We have a fire boost that we got on Mountain Trail. So this is going to be hopefully a really good cave fight here.
Yeah, fire's going to be... Yeah, magnet and fire are both pretty good tools to have here. I think even playing casually, you kind of realize how good fire is when you're doing this fight, because you don't have so many tools. They take away Goofy, so you can't even use Valor Form here if you've been using Valor Form to this point.
Playing it safe, don't want to die, so we already got 1 death on the tracker. I really wish I didn't get that death.
Oh, you are using the tracker that's got the death counter on it, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, there it is in the bottom right. You can see that 1 death.
I figured that would be fun to have on, so then people can be like, haha, you died this many times. Like, yeah, I did, actually. Because I like to know how many times I died too, because it helps me in the sense of getting better at specific things too. Like, okay, I died here. What could I have done differently? You know? But it's not a big deal right now. Like, we won't talk about that 1 death. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
You mean the one death that is permanently ingrained on your tracker?
No,
there for the world to see?
I have no idea what you're talking about. We also found a second fire.
Yeah, a second fire. So fire is going to be real nice.
Especially with that fire boost. And if we find final form, my life would be complete. Final
so
form
Rose actually
thing.
choosing to die in that fight. There are a number of fights in this game. It's usually the first forced fight in a world. She did it in Halloween Town as well. You can actually die to the fight with 0 consequences. And because we're playing on critical difficulty, you saw how quickly she died. And because of how quickly she died, it's just faster.
Yeah, you take so much damage, and I didn't put any defensive items on yet. I'm going to be keeping it that way for a little bit too, because that isn't the only death abuse fight that I'm going to be doing, you know? There's so many different fights that you can death abuse. There's going to be one in Beast Castle. There's going to be hopefully one up in Twilight Town. Maybe 2, depending on how terribly bad the tower is. But we'll see.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that might be actually it for death abuse fights. There's only a couple I know in the game.
There are a couple more that you can die to.
I did in Port Royal too.
Yeah, Port Royal is another common place too. Like the first fight in Hollow Bastion, we usually prefer to just win that fight. It's only a couple of enemies, so it's pretty quick. And because it's such a low battle level world, the enemies don't really do that much damage. So you'll kind of see a variety of it. Ooh, okay, Sword of the Ancestor. All right, before we say anything, Sword of the Ancestor, that's a party member weapon. Who in chat knows who that belongs to? Who has the Sword of the Ancestor?
You guys get brownie points if you get it right. And it's not Zach. Zach, you can't answer that.
Yeah, it's cheating if Zach does.
Waiting for someone to say, oh,
and Battlefields of War, another party member weapon.
Okay, that's actually really good.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yep. Oh, chat's on it. Yeah, that's Mulan's or Ping's weapon, Sword of the Ancestor. So that'll unlock LOD2, the second Vistal Planet of Dragons. And then Battlefields of War is Orin's sword. So that'll unlock OC2, Coliseum 2.
So if we need to, we can go into those worlds. And I made myself a promise too. I would not do Shan Yu skip if I didn't have the second world unlocked. So now since we technically do have the second world unlocked, I'm 100% going to do Shan Yu skip if I need to.
That's a juicy ability on Ultima Weapon.
I know,
Light
wasn't it?
Darkness. You don't have a
hoping
form,
I'm gonna
but
use that.
you do have an auto form if you wanted to get real cheeky with it.
I'm gonna continue doing shotguns first.
Yeah,
we'll see. Let's see what else we find.
Yeah, probably better because there's a fair chance that you just find the form. So Light and Darkness is a super great ability. They added it in 2FM.
Kelly, are you okay? Do you need some water?
No, I have water. It's right here. It's in my hand.
Water check?
Water check. Hydrate in chat. But Light and Darkness will help us force out Final Form much faster. And Final Form is pretty darn good. So if we can be using Final Form, we usually want to be using Final Form.
Definitely the best form in the game. It just has so much, you have so much utility with it, and it's just so strong. It doesn't make sense to not use it if you have it.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll probably end up using if we find it really early, or if I end up forcing it. The only way we can force it right now is if I use an auto form, which I do have auto limit, get low HP, and then have that Light and Darkness Keyblade on and use the auto limit to go into a go into limit, but you know, if you're in a fight, you're going to either get put into anti-form or you're going to get put into final form, and your chances go up every time to a cap, every time you get anti-form to get final form. So hopefully if we do end up having to do the auto, it will be a fast final form. However, you can get very unlucky and have to do 7 or 8 different, and it's not fun.
No, it always feels bad, especially in like a race setting. It's just time lost due to RNG. There's really nothing you can do about it. It's always rough when things are completely out of your hands. How painfully slow is all this movement without glide? Incredibly painful. And so
we got lucky. We started with glide 1, and then we found another glide, I believe, in one of the really...
Oh, hey!
We don't need a fourth final form at all. Okay.
There you go. Yeah, or you could just find it naturally.
Oh, that's so great. Okay.
Find final form.
See, if we didn't start with a glide, I was going to be very, very, very upset. I was going to be in a lot of pain mentally. And, you know, mental health matters. So,
yeah,
but,
so we do start with 5 random movement abilities. At one point, something that we called movement was added, which starts you off with level 1 of all 5 movement abilities. And it was kind of a, do we like this? Do we not? And then somebody came up with the idea of just starting with 5 random ones. That way you've always got a little bit of movement, because these worlds are big. And while you don't need the movement abilities, it just makes everything a lot faster, it makes it a lot smoother, and it makes it a lot more fun. So fortunately for us, the 5 random movement abilities did give us a glide among the other things, and then even more fortunately, like Rose said, we picked up another one. So
okay, let's see what we got. Ooh, we got the other negative combo.
No. Oh, both negative combos on Keyblades. Okay.
That's okay. Kind of. Not really. So there are plenty of bosses that you can kind of tease, which include Roxas, Terra, Marluxia, a lot of the datas with what's called double negative combo, which is equipping both your negative combos and essentially jumping and just hitting them repeatedly like in the air. Just jump, hit, jump, hit. And unfortunately, because we have both negative combos on Keyblades, we are unable to do those types of strats, which makes me really sad. But it does make so now I have to play around with strats for those bosses if we need to go that far. Roxas, of course, because we do need to climb the world that never was. But other bosses, I cannot do those with now. Darn. It's okay.
And yeah, just as we had a good question in chat, and Zach already kind of beat me to the answer. But what gets randomized? Just about everything. Chests, bonuses, pop-ups, stats, abilities. Basically, the only thing that doesn't get randomized are the bosses and the enemies. And that's because we chose not to randomize that. That is an option. So if you want to play this with randomized bosses and randomized enemies, that's a thing that you can do. And it's a time. It is certainly pretty chaotic.
I've done randomized enemies, but not randomized bosses, I think, and it was crazy to say the least. I don't know if I would do it again. It's a time.
See, I need to get into the boss hunter bingo and the 1 hour challenges. There is a huge group of people that plays lots of boss and enemy randomizer formats, because there are so many ways to play this game. What we're doing here today is probably the most common and the most typical, which is find the 3 proofs, beat the game, defeat final Zemnis. That's kind of the simplest way to play it. and that's what we call any percent. But you could do what is effectively a 100%, it's on all blue numbers, where you get all of the important checks. Because once you complete a world, once you have all the important checks in a world, the little yellow number on the tracker will turn blue. So you'll notice that right now we have 0 blue numbers, which means that there's more stuff everywhere. So
I want to know where Sora's going. I'm sorry. He's just been like trying to lock onto enemies and then not locking onto enemies and then going a completely different way. And that fight was just, oh goodness. Oh goodness gracious. Sorry.
Yeah, the lock-on system in this game is difficult to manage sometimes. It doesn't always cooperate the way you want it to.
Trying to figure out where we want to go next, because we more or less have done every shotgun except for Space Paranoids at this point, and the world that never was. So I'm unsure what we want to really do next.
Are you gonna leave early here before tower?
I'm debating on it, because we could, and then we could use tower to level up the other forms if we need to. And by other forms, I mean Wisdom or Valor. I'll grab these 2 chests and then I'll leave, and then I'll go to Space Paranoid.
Or Master if you get a drive converter.
Oh, I do have double drive converter, actually. So, oh look, auto wisdom.
Well, okay, there's another auto.
No, we'll go to Space Paranoid here.
If you haven't played in a while, we can leave Twilight Town early now. Typically, in Twilight Town, we couldn't leave early because those save points were coded a little bit differently. Because as you're playing through the story, you don't have the gummy ship at that point. So it's a different kind of a save point. It's the kind that doesn't have the base to it. It just has the little spinny dudes. So you can't leave. But bless our rando developers for giving us the ability to leave a little bit early and not be stuck in jail.
Ooh.
Okay, report 4. Sora's Heart has no path to the light. So Sora's Heart refers to levels. Abilities that you get and checks that you get just from leveling up, which as of yet we don't have any.
I call a torn page in there.
You think there's going to be a torn page there?
Yeah, I 100% think there's going to be a torn page in levels. There's usually a torn page in levels, which is the only reason I am so set on that.
It's not unreasonable. We know from looking at 100 Acre Wood, which had a torn page that had no path to the light, we know that the torn page won't point anywhere. So.
Alrighty. Now, I guess I can step in here. I could push this up to Zigbar if I wanted to. Sorry for everybody's ears. I should have done a little bit of a warning here for the AP boost. I apologize. I'm unsure. My brain inside is saying don't do Roxas yet because that's going to be really slow, but do Roxas because you can cheese quicker on him and show it off. But it's not as fun. I'm like, what do I want to do here?
Most of the game behavior stuff is done by Num. Yeah. A lot of the back end work that modifies how the game functions as a whole was done by Num, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 Num. But we call him Num for obvious reasons.
I'm gonna catch this.
Oh, you haven't gone to TR yet, have you?
No, I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah. Really, less emphasis on the slightly and more emphasis on the hard. Not really getting too many good tools to deal with bosses or deal with fights. Honestly, Fyra is like the best that you've got at this point.
Yeah. We haven't really gotten like, okay, you were in the wall, Missy. Okay.
There we go. We pushed that mouse. It's very difficult, though.
Just come here.
And sometimes you take what you can get.
Of the way.
Yeah. It's a lot faster than having her just run along. But we push that mouse whenever we can.
I've gotten a lot better at it, but it's always that ending. It's like that ending where the door frame is. Mm-hmm. I have no idea how to get her past that yet.
Let's go.
Game looks surprisingly good for
either.
Game looks surprisingly good for a PS2 game. That is because this is the HD port of the game. So it did get a graphics and frame rate upgrade along the way. So HD release, fortunately.
Mm-hmm. I remember playing this when it came out.
Let's go.
Very, very slightly. I just remember staying up during summer break, funny as that is, and just staying up until like 3 or 4 in the morning, running around in Pride Lands. Nonetheless, just didn't really care about anything else. I didn't have summer school, luckily, and all that jazz. It was just so much fun. This game will always have a special place in my heart.
Let's go.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us played this game as kids, and it's still, you know, like I said, we got the HD port. It still looks pretty darn good for a PS2 game, even like the PS2 version. It did age very well, I think.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the original non-FM for the US was released in 2005, if I remember correctly. And
I think so.
For that time, the game was mind-blowingly like good graphics. Like, I think that's why I was so drawn to it, because around that time you also had Final Fantasy X, which was released in like 2002, I think. And it's just crazy seeing how far things have come since then too. But to have just a 3-year difference between like Final Fantasy X, which was, you know, pretty like realistic in a sense, and then this, which it's just still so mind-blowing to me that, you know, you can't actually really compare those two because they're two different like genres in a sense. But it's just so cool seeing how good these games became.
Knowledge.
Really?
Port Royal has no path to the light. Oh dear.
But we got a finishing plus.
Oh, finishing plus is going to be great. You've got magnet finishing leap now?
Mm-hmm. That's what I've been trying to do, and then I realized I didn't have it.
Then you realize you don't have a finishing plus? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have my controller input display on, but I have been mashing square after magnets, and I realized I don't have a finishing leap. Like, I don't have a finishing plus.
Yeah, so a finishing plus lets you use multiple finishers in a row. So with one finishing plus, Rose can use 2 finishers in a row, and magnet counts as a finisher. So for a lot of mob fights, magnet into explosion or magnet into finishing leap is a really, really good crowd control tool. And so you'll see Rose use it here in this fight, and just watch how strong this is. It pulls those enemies in, keeps them in place so that they get hit by the finisher.
Ooh, report.
Okay.
Finally, we got some good information.
Ooh. Okay. Hollow Bastion is on the path to non-existence and peace. So, what that tells us is that checks that we find in Hollow Bastion could point to worlds that have non-existence, could point to worlds that have peace. So Final Form, the one check we have there, points to drive forms.
Final Form doesn't actually point to anywhere else either. It only points to drive forms.
Yeah, the other forms that you get, Valor, Wisdom, Master, and Limit, will also point to the world where you normally get the form. So Wisdom form would point to Disney Castle, Master form would point to Hollow Bastion, etc. But Final Form just points to drive forms. Now that said, Hollow Bastion might not point to non-existence and peace because of the Final Form. So we don't know for certain that one of those proofs is there. But what we do know is we know that the proof of connection cannot be on drive forms. So, because if it were, then Final Form definitely would have pointed there.
That's so funny because we just got that report that says that drive forms hits proof of connection.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's so great. Okay. I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and do this really quick, just to like get some stuff going. See if we can get into an auto form here. See how much damage I take. If we can get into an auto form, we'll get into an auto form, but I'm not gonna sit here and take damage until I'm in critical HP. Because now this is gonna be just super fast.
Yeah, this is gonna be really nice to get through. We like to, if we can, kind of save some of these good drive leveling spots for when we have those drive forms and we can level them, because as you level up your drive forms, you also get checks there, and we might need those checks. But you can only do that so much. Sometimes you just need to push deeper into a world. And so there's a couple checks at the top of the tower, and then there's also TT2, which we have access to, because we found the picture earlier.
That's another reason why I kind of want to push this, is because we do have access to TT2. It just feels like it would be better, in a sense, to just go ahead and push this, because then we'll have all those nobodies unlocked as well in the mansion whenever we can get to TT3 for final form grinding, if we haven't already gone through the world that never was. So it just feels like it's a good idea to go through this right now for me. Plus, checks. I want these checks. I want this knowledge if we ever get more knowledge. We still have 8 reports, so I'm hoping that we find some other reports soon.
No knowledge, only AP boost.
Don't tell me that. That's so heartbreaking. When you're just like, oh yeah, give me something good. Okay, it's an AP boost. You know, though AP boosts aren't terrible. I've come to terms with the fact that they are very useful when you want to actually put abilities on. AP boosts help, you know? I had no idea that's what AP boosts did.
Yeah, they're kind of good. Yeah, Final Fire, definitely going to make quick work of this fight. This fight is, I think, one of the most interesting, because this fight can be so scary and so hard if you don't have the right tools. But if you do have the right tools and you do have the stats, then boom, easy, done, gone.
And I experience boosted that fight too. Like, right at the end, I didn't expect to get hit,
yeah.
But I'll take the extra experience.
Mm-hmm. Extra experience on a couple of berserkers. We like that.
Oh. Okay, so nothing here for TT2.
Right, well, nothing in TT2. Where are you gonna go?
I don't know. I guess we could start finishing up worlds. We'll start with the easy worlds that are not, like, out of the question yet for proofs. Since what we're looking for are probably proofs now at this point, since we do have a lot of information. My other option would have been to just start going through the worlds that are telling us that they have no paths to light as well. Like, well, I can't go into 100 Acre Wood. Like Port Royal, I could have continued through, but that minute fight is kind of iffy, you know, without having a reflect and only having a fire and a magnet. So no.
So one of the things that makes the KH2 Rando, I think, very unique in the way that it compares to other randomizers for other games is how open it is. It is much less about, can I physically access the place, and much, much more about, do I feel comfortable doing it? Do I have good tools to do it efficiently, to do it quickly, to do it without death cycling a bunch? And so Rose here has some good stuff. Not everything that she wants, and there's plenty more that I'm sure she'd like to have. And so you kind of have to pick and choose the world to go, okay, well, you know, Final Fire, really good at that nobody fight in TT2. So she went and did that. This is another world now with the finishing plus, with the with finishing plus, finishing late, that kind of stuff, that's going to make some of these fights a little bit easier and a little bit faster.
Another reason why I am glad that I came here, because normally the thresholder door is kind of a pain because of the gargoyles that spawn. I like to really come in here when I have a reflect, due to the fact that you could do like a full combo, a full like 3-hit combo, and then use a reflect on your finishing plus in order to just retaliate them. But I didn't have that there, so I kind of had to use that finishing leap, which really saved me there. However, if you do die in that fight, you more or less get to have the option to call Mickey to help you, which I say no to. The only time that I will say yes to Mickey is probably later on in a different world. I won't spoil that for you guys.
Ooh.
If I don't have tools, that is. But we have some pretty good tools, just nothing that
oh, look, more auto forms
yet. I mean, and a form boost
for your auto forms. That way you can use them longer. More auto forms.
Oh, the other money pouch.
Okay, the money pouch I guess is nice. I mean, you don't really need it. The one money pouch, the money pouch gives you 5,000 money, which we almost always immediately spend on ethers.
That does not happen in the vanilla game, though, by the way. So you guys are clear. It's a rando thing. That's
a rando thing. There are 2 money pouches in the game. One that you get as Roxas and one that you get as Stora. Fortunately, auto forms are not in logic. That's a nightmare thing. We do not have that turned on today. Okay.
Nobody saw me do that. Nobody saw that.
Don't put dodge slash on. Dodge slash is bad.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Well,
yes.
So at this point, right, you get to this point and you've got most of the easy checks, right? And so you look at what you have and ask yourself, what do I feel comfortable doing? What tools do I have? I see Final, I see Fyra, I see 2 fire boosts. And so I ask myself, what can I use Final Fire on? What can I burn up with this damage?
We also have Olympus Stone, so technically I could push Olympus Coliseum very hard if I wanted to.
That would be so spicy. I don't get a chance to see, like, are you talking about, like, some of the tournaments or just, like, period?
Oh, just the world itself.
I was hoping we'd get to see some of the tournaments or some spicy stuff. Of the stuff
Cubs?
that we have hints for right now, what are some of the more spicy checks you can do out of curiosity?
Could you... I'm looking. I don't think you could do Sean U skip with your current.
I don't have. I have 1 aerial dodge and
and 1 use of Auto Master, basically.
Yeah.
Olympus Coliseum would be a good push. Olympus Coliseum. Yeah, OC is kind of a tough world to break into, but it does have a lot of stuff in it. I know it's a big favorite of Zach's. Zach loves OC. STT is spicy. Do we have?
I'm thinking about. I was actually looking at it.
We've got Magnet and Fire. Could push Roxas, World That Never Was. Yeah.
Oh, you guys aren't close enough for me to actually use a cure on both of you, so I can't go into final here. Darn it. Fine.
Yeah, the OC cups, like the.
I knew that was going to happen.
Ooh.
I don't have a Leaf Bracer. We talked about that earlier, too, having a Leaf Bracer. It's really good, but...
Before the stream, we were talking about how nice it is when you have Leaf Bracer.
The times I died in Kingdom Hearts 1 because of no Leaf Bracer in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the Cerberus Cup, Pain and Panic Cup, Goddess of Fate Cup, we have those turned off. Those are slow and rough and painful and have unlock conditions, and it's a really big effort for not so many checks.
I haven't done cups in so long too, so it's like you need to do cups. Good luck. But they're very, very difficult.
Yeah. Something else that makes cups difficult is they did not scale well to critical. They added critical mode to this game with the FM, the Final Mix re-release, and it is not something that translated very well. So
I have ethers. I have ethers. Will this even do anything if I magnet him? Yo, I didn't know that. He just kind of sits there. What?
Learning.
I never knew that. I'll take it though.
So, do you have? I don't think you have a magnet at this point in the vanilla game.
I don't think so. I think you get your first magnet in Halloween Town.
Yeah, you get your first magnet here on Oogie Boogie. So one of the really neat things about playing Rando is you get to do these tricks that never could have happened in the vanilla game. Like, how do some of the early bosses interact with magnet? Some of them are susceptible to Chicken Little. Like, an entire boss just gets sucked in by Chicken Little. Which is really, really funny to see.
And this fight's just kind of self-explanatory.
Yeah, this is actually one of the places where we have a little bit of quality of life here. This is now a 1-cycle fight. Instead of a mandatory 3-cycle, you only have to bring him down once. This fight is very long and very slow in the vanilla game.
Super tedious.
Bless our Rando developers. Actually, if I do want to take a little bit of time to shout out some of the bigger developers for the Randomizer, because it has been a huge community effort, and tons of people have contributed, and tons of people have done different things, and they've added suggestions, they've added small things. DA made our tracker that we're using, and plenty of other people have also contributed to that. Zach is in charge of the randomizer itself. Sonic Shadow Silver 2, he made the GOA mod, the Garden of Assemblage mod, which lets us interact with the game the way we do. So you've probably been noticing this whole time, whenever Rose leaves a world, instead of going to the world map with the gummy ship, she goes to the Garden of Assemblage, and there's just a door she can interact with. So she can go anywhere she wants at any time. And I know I'm still, we mentioned Num earlier, who did a lot of the kind of back-end programming, making things work ways they're not intended to. One of Num's more recent contributions is getting around the map crash in Port Royal. If you have played on PC, there's a fair chance that you have crashed while opening up the map in Port Royal, trying to go from location to location. It is a bug that simply exists in the PC port for whatever reason.
No idea why it's there, but it's there.
I don't know. But Num was able to program a way around it so you can interact with the text box to go where you need to instead of interacting with the map. And that's just what this community does. It's like, hey, it would be neat if, it would be cool if, and then somebody does it. And it has been so amazing to be a part of this community. And so I'm like always happy to help out with events. There are always tournaments going on. There are always people that are so active in the help channels. If you're looking to get set up, we're always happy to help with that. So it's just such a great community. I came in because I'm like, ooh, I like Kingdom Hearts, and Randomizer seems neat. And now some of my best friends are here.
I hope I'm one of those.
I was about like Rose. Yeah, Rose and I now hang out like, well, not daily lately because I've been busy, but
we were hanging out literally daily. Like I would get up.
Oh gosh! Oh, we're seeing our first one. You might notice that Roxas looks a little bit different.
No, he looks the same. I don't know what you're talking about.
When we see the little reaction command, it's not a reaction command, but the little cutscene thing. Just take a closer look. He might look a little bit like Rue. That's Ruxus.
It's Ruxus, guys.
So one thing to address, we're playing with the Organization 100 mod, which modifies all of the organization members to look like either people from the 100 Acre Wood, or you have musical silhouettes on too?
Yes.
Okay, so all the absent silhouettes will look like characters from Atlantica. Yeah, so this is Ruxus.
Ruxus.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Why does everybody keep calling me Ruxus?
Second thing to address, this is a thing that you can do. So bosses in this game, actually even standard enemies, have something called revenge value, which, without getting too technical about it, every time you hit them, that value goes up, and once it reaches a certain threshold, they'll break out. Right, so that's why you can't combo bosses infinitely. You get kind of 2 combos, and then they break out and attack you back. But one of the interesting things is if you steal Roxas's Keyblades in this fight, and you quick run at him, those Keyblade hits will do damage, but they don't add RV. They don't add revenge value. So you can do this infinitely. Roxas the Kanga? No. This is Rue. He's Ruxus.
But we might see Kangas later.
We'll probably see we might see Kanga later though.
Well, maybe. Yeah. Most likely. We will most likely see all of the ooh, finally.
Oh,
a different magic.
Nice.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna drink a sip of my coffee, but ooh, okay.
And Genie, okay.
That's good. We haven't gotten a hint that says anything about the world that never was. So I will take that as it's good information regardless right now. So, ooh, Stitch. Okay.
This world is pretty good.
Oh, this is great. I'm living for this right now.
Yeah, saw a couple of good questions in chat. Yeah, Pure Blood. If you see Pure Blood in Rose's Keyblade menu, that's a new Keyblade that was added. It has anti-forms hit effects on it. Agrabah has no path to the light.
Oh,
okay.
I tried to figure out what I was doing there, and I was just like, reflect. Wait, I don't have
No,
reflect.
you don't have reflect, Rose. You can't do that.
Hey, it's fine. It's fine. It worked. It worked. I killed them all. I got the 1800 experience. We're good. But that also means that those 2 worlds are also dead.
Yeah. Ooh, Thunder Boost to go along with your Thunder. 626, isn't he broken in Cage too? He's very good. Stitch is a very, very good summon. He will stun lock enemies. He'll refill your magic. And he does all that just sitting there. You just summon him, let him hang out. Actually, this is a great place to see Stitch. He also parries attacks. Not all attacks.
Most of them.
He'll parry some attacks. So Rose is going to do her best to avoid as many as we can. But Stitch is going to help out here. This is a forced minute fight.
Skill and crossbones?
Oh, okay.
Port Royal's dead.
Port Royal, yeah, dead. So the kind of the hints and the checks that we picked up, Agrabah having no path to the light, we found Sword of the Ancestor to LOD, which we already knew was dead. We found Battlefields of War, which points to OC, so we know that OC also cannot have the proof.
We're knocking out worlds left and right now.
Yeah.
This is actually crazy how many worlds are dead now.
Skill and crossbones on levels and no path to the light means that there can't be a proof here. So actually, let me just go through and mark off. I've been bad about unselecting these worlds once they're dead.
Yeah, no, I've been like tabbing out and actually doing it, and so I'm pretty proud of myself, Zach. I hope you are proud of me too.
No path to the light. Yeah, so if you missed our explanation on path hints earlier, the way that it works is, so let's look at levels, for instance. So we got skill and crossbones there, which is Jack Sparrow's weapon. So Jack Sparrow's weapon points to Port Royal, which means that, and because Sora's Heart has no path to the light, that means there can't be a proof in any of the worlds that those checks point to. So that information tells us that Port Royal cannot have one of the 3 proofs that we'll need to beat the game. If we look at 100 Acre Wood, we have a similar sort of thing going on. No path to the light. We have Tron's Identity Disc, which kills off Space Paranoids. And then we have Torn Pages, which kills off 100 Acre Wood itself, as well as the 5 worlds where Torn Pages are found. So wherever the vanilla locations are of these checks, that's what it's pointing to. So the world that never was with Thunder, Genie, and Stitch would point to Stitch's Hollow Bastion. Genie is found in Agrabah, and then Thunder is found in Olympus Coliseum, Land of Dragons, and Pride Lands. So that's kind of how our path hint system works. Those vanilla checks, well, the checks will point to worlds where they are found vanilla. It takes a little bit to wrap your head around. It's definitely our most complicated hint system. But if you have any questions, we are always happy to answer.
There's also a little cheat sheet too. So
yeah,
you can always have that open and use that to distinguish where these vanilla checks are. So
right.
It's very helpful.
All of the information that you could want about KH2 Rando can be found at kh2rando.com. And that will have, it's got the download for the randomizer, it's got a link to the Discord, it's got a ton of helpful resources, and one of those really helpful resources is a set of 2 infographics, which tells you which checks correspond to which worlds. So remember when the Thunder Magnet strat.
I had to do the Thunder Magnet strat, okay? I had to.
I love it.
That's the only reason why I'm still here.
Would after this battle be a good time to take our first break?
Yeah. Sounds
absolutely.
good to me.
Awesome.
Oh, the world that never was has no path to the light, by the way.
Oh my goodness, that's going to kill more worlds.
Yep. Okay, well, I can definitely do a skip scene, and we can just chill in the GOA while we take that break then.
Yeah.
Sounds
Absolutely.
good to me.
So if you're going to count us down so we know to stop the timer.
3, 2, 1, stop timer.
No, that works. All right, folks, as we head into our first wellness break, remember that your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bits shared on the GDQ Twitch channel help support our weekly Hotfix content. Please consider subscribing if you enjoy these weekly Hotfix shows. With that being said, everyone be sure to stretch, hydrate, and we'll be right back with Random Number Generation. Welcome back to Random Number Generation. I am joined here by Rose, and this is Kingdom Hearts 2 Randomizer. And apparently there is a kitty.
Yeah, there is a kitty. Her name is Aurora. Aurora. She's been playing with my hair this entire break, as you guys can see.
Well, with that being said, once we are done saying "aw" at the kitty, it is on your go, and let's continue into this randomizer. I did notice we don't have any proof so far, so this should be interesting.
Yeah, this is gonna be really interesting. I'm ready to go on 3, 2, 1, go. So 3, 2, 1, go. As me saying that, I actually have no idea where to go, so I'm just gonna wing it, and we're gonna jump into our first world that you go to in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is Twilight Town, aka simulated Twilight Town, actually, which is Roxas's world.
Yeah, so we get to play as Roxas here, but if you've ever wondered what would it be like if Roxas had magic, if Roxas had movement abilities, you're gonna find out, because that is one of the more recent updates to the randomizer, is the ability to use magic movement and Trinity Limit as Roxas. Unfortunately, I think Limit Form and Trinity Limit are probably the two big things that you really, really want here. And unfortunately, we don't have those.
We do not.
But Rose has a dark past where she ran beginner any %, so she's pretty comfortable with this world anyway.
I mean, you aren't wrong. I just wish I did have Trinity Limit. Trinity Limit would make this so much faster, and it's so much more fun with Trinity Limit too. That was actually pretty fast. I'm not going to complain.
That was pretty good, yeah.
The reversal.
The reversal is clean. Oh, and there's the magic. You love to see it. Just boom!
Can you stop playing with my controller cord, Missy? She's already just starting to be a monster, so... My husband's not home, so I can't have him keep them, like, company. So, yeah. Oh, our first blizzard. Okay.
All right. Blizzard's nice, I guess. Rando, you don't have to do this minigame. You do have to complete one minigame in the vanilla game.
Yeah.
But in Randomizer, you don't.
Yeah, luckily you can just like start the minigame, and as you can see, you could just quit out of it, and you're done with that particular part, and then you can continue on. Another thing that I noticed the first time I actually played with the Roxas being able to use magic and everything is that one of his foot, like his foot disappears basically. It doesn't disappear, but it like bends forward.
Yeah. It's an interesting quirk that I don't know if anybody's actually figured out yet.
I hate discs. Oh my goodness. Should just use fire there. Fire hits multiple times.
I know fire, and I'm not sure how good magnet is all by itself.
I don't know.
Fire definitely very good there. This is this is still, we're learning too. A pretty new update to the randomizer, and so people are still trying to figure out what are the kind of the optimal plays here and the optimal strats. What makes, what's fast. We've discovered that Trinity Limit is really, really good. But we haven't nailed down everything yet. You have to realize that we're kind of competing with, gosh, how many years of speedrun knowledge? Close to 15 years?
Yeah.
Versus maybe 2 or 3 months of people playing with this mod.
Yeah.
And you can bonk there for, I don't know what you're bonking on.
I believe it's like a 1 pixel for like.
Oh.
It's a thing of Sora. It's like a 1 pixel Sora.
Interesting.
Like parry. I'm unsure what it's actually called, but I always do that. I don't know why, but I always hit that because it's ingrained in me now, kind of like eating the bear.
So that was a pretty quick fight. That section does get fast forwarded. That's another quality of life option that we have there. It is just an incredible amount of waiting for no reason. I don't know how you get into like a good fire here, or how magnet might work on it. Oh, there you go.
I wanted
get him in the corner, get him dead. Yep. There you go.
No more playing around.
There we go.
Yeah. Do you see how many orbs fly out with that fire? It's so good.
I didn't think fire was gonna do that much, but then you said it, and I was like, oh, let's have some fun. Oh, okay.
Oh, come on.
Okay, let's try this. Wow. Annihilated.
It's cathartic, you know? It's cathartic, especially against Vivi.
It was weird, that's for sure. I think Setzer is going to be a lot of fun here, though. Oh, man, how am I going to do Axel? I guess I could try fire on him. Fire sounds like it would be fun.
Fire does not work on Axel.
I was trying to make that a surprise. I was going to be like, oh, man. Oh, I mean, sorry, it's Kanga.
Right. Wait a minute. Yeah.
I forgot that it's Kanga.
Kanga, which is perfect, right? Because Kanga and Rue are Axel and Roxas. You know, and they've got that kind of, they got that like the big brother, little brother relationship. They take care of each other. Oh, those fires. So good.
This isn't.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm shocked I didn't get hit by him when he said, that's checkmate. Like, okay, bro. Checkmate. And normally you only get one pop-up there. One thing that they did with Rando was that you get both the pop-ups there. Because in the vanilla game, if you were to lose, you would only get one pop-up for the medal. If you were to win, you would only get one pop-up for the champion belt.
So there's always two pop-ups there, even in the vanilla game.
Sorry, my bad.
And it's just that one of them is either the champion belt or the medal, depending on whether you win or lose. So the randomizer just has that one be junk. That way,
good.
Yeah, we don't want you missing any checks. You know. Oh wow, Cure and Torn Page is back to back. Okay, can we finish a world?
That would be really nice. Just make one world blue, so then we can be done with a world. Because all of our worlds are still yellow. There's still something in every world.
Yeah, I've been waiting more than an hour to go, look, see how that number turned blue? That means... And that still has not happened.
I know, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. We know whose fault it is. Who rolled the seed?
Zach's fault.
I know who you are.
That would be my show. My show's pretty cursed with randomizers. Ask Chad.
No, this is fine. This is fine. Trust me, I've had bad seeds before. This one gave me final form. It is not bad. I will take final form and Fyra any day of the week. Any day. Any second. I love Final Fire. I used to hate it. I used to never use fire in vanilla, and then once I figured out how good Final Fire was from Rando, my life has never been the same with this game. Yeah, that's what happens when you start playing Rando, or when you start learning how to speedrun something, is you learn like all the good stuff. Oh, okay, sir. That's fine. I'll just whack you on the head. We'll do that. You were gonna say something. I'm sorry.
No, gamer. We've done quite a lot before coming in here. This is not our first visit, fortunately. The GOA mod that we've got allows us to go into any world at any time. So if you look at Rose's tracker below her webcam, you'll see she's been in all of those other locations and done some varying degree. Ooh, your first reflect.
I can literally do anything in the game now. In my experience, I can literally do like anything in the game now, except for Terra. Screw Terra. I don't want to have to do Terra, which we just luckily don't have to do for proof, but we might.
Yeah.
To go back into TR for something.
He can't have a proof. There is sort of some weird logic where he has an item that locks a world, which has an item that locks another world. Oh, speaking of world locks,
we're done with the world.
Oh, we're done. So you'll see if you direct your attention to the tracker. So STT, Simulated Twilight Town, it's Roxas's Wayfinder necklace. The kind of blue X in the top left of the tracker. You'll notice that it has a blue 5 as opposed to a yellow 5. And that blue 5 means that the world is done. There's no more important checks there.
Finally did it.
So that world is done. It's great. You're gonna see how good Reflect is. Oh.
I don't know. I didn't do like anything there. I literally hit 2 buttons. I hit Reflect and Magnet. That's it. Especially with the magic stat, because Reflect obviously is a magic. It's going to go off your magic stat. So the more magic that you have, the more damage it will do. And having a second Reflect, aka Reflera, would be really nice too. But I'm not complaining about having baby Reflect since we haven't had it the first hour of the season.
Yeah, Reflera and Reflega, they don't do any more damage. They're just bigger, which makes it easier to get hit and then to hit back. Okay, more knowledge.
Oh, we knew that we knew Hollow Bastion was dead. We knew that 100 Acre was dead. Hollow Bastion was dead. The Reflects those are already all dead. And Beast Claw is dead. So that's all information that we knew.
Oh,
basically. Yeah, that's kind of frustrating in a sense. So I think now would be a good time to actually push OC2 because there's nothing telling us like, hey, this world, yeah, it doesn't have a proof, but again, it could have the thing that we need to unlock a second visit of a world, or it could have something that could have the proof, so to say. Like it could have a form if there's a proof in forms.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The forms are probably the big thing that I'm looking at here. You need forms to level forms. So Rose right now only has one form, and that's Final Form, which means she can only level Final Form, and she can only get it to level 3. Once she picks up another form, she'll be able to get that form and Final Form to level 4. If she gets a third form, she'll be able to get them all to level 5. And so you need to pick up all 5 forms to get all of them to level 7. How is Hollow Bastion dead but in the path to a proof? That's a great question. So the way that the path hint system works is if you're familiar with Ocarina of Time path hints, it might actually like sort of confuse you a little bit. It works a little bit differently. So if you look at STT, Simulated Twilight Town in the top left, with Blizzard, Cure, Torn Page, Reflect, and Beast Claw, the vanilla locations of all of those items. So for Blizzard, that's Hollow Bastion. For Cure, that's Hollow Bastion, Beast Castle, 100 Acre Wood. For the Torn Page, that's where all the Torn Pages are found, etc., etc. Those worlds cannot have the proofs. So Hollow Bastion cannot have a proof because actually we've got a lot of things that tell us that it can't have a proof. But if it had the proof of connection, say, then Simulated Twilight Town would have said that it would have been on the path to connection because that cure would point you to the world. Like I said, it's a little bit confusing to wrap your head around. It's a relatively new system. Feel free to ask questions. We are happy to answer.
Yeah, it's a little complicated at first, but the more that you watch or the more that you play these hints, the more understanding it becomes. We decided on doing path hints before I really, really dived into how they worked. Like, I remember messaging you, Kale, and being like, so what do you think? And then he responded with, I think path hints would be fun. And I said, fine, you know, whatever, let's do it. We'll do it. So I went with it, and I really like these because this helps you know knowledge. For one, like, you learn the knowledge of where the vanilla checks are. And if you were to ever go from rando to speedrunning, it does help you out in a sense, you know? But it's a lot of thinking. You have to know, like, okay, well, Beast Claw, obviously Beast Claw, I can't do anything, and like, there's no proof in Beast Castle. But where do these reflects go? I know one is in Disney Castle. Where are the other two? You know, you have to really think about it in that sense. And it's a lot. I like it when my brain, like, continues to work. So these hints, while at first I said, no, I don't want to learn this, now I'm obsessed.
Yeah. Just quickly to answer the question in chat, yeah, kh2rando.com is the first place to go. It's got all the downloads that you need. It's got a lot of resources. And then it has a link to the Randomizer Discord, where you can find me, where you can find Rose, where you can find hundreds of other super crazy helpful people who are happy to answer questions and help you get set up. And yeah, the neat thing about path hints is it definitely makes the game not less execution heavy, but there's a bigger puzzle solving aspect to it. There's a bigger, I think, mental strain almost. I'm not really using the best words for it here, but it adds that element of puzzle solving to the randomizer instead of it just being purely execution and executing the fights and getting through content as quickly as possible. Which personally I like, because that's kind of why I like rando. I like the puzzle solving. I like the improvisation. If I wanted to go pure execution, I think that's where traditional speedrunning has a home. That's an interesting hint. That's a nice report. I'm gonna have to go back there. I'm gonna go back there because yeah, I'm going to go back there. You said something about mental strain, just so you guys know. Mental health matters. It does.
By the way, I just wanted to go ahead and throw that out there. You can see I have some really awesome thing said on my shirt, which I think I actually just said out loud. It's called Mental Health Matters. So don't go and put your mental health on the line just to learn like where stuff is and all that jazz. And on top of that, just don't put your mental health on the line. It's very important. So just want to let you guys know. I was trying to figure out how to really plug it in, but I had Mental Health Matters merch on my Stream Elements store. The link, I believe, is streamelements.com/shop/Rose Carol. I'm not 100%, but if you guys want some Mental Health Matters stuff, you know, there's a good place to put it there. Just wanted to throw that out there. I'm a huge advocate for mental health, so I think everybody should be a huge advocate for mental health. Ooh.
Oh, form.
Ooh.
Okay. That's actually huge. That is a huge pickup. So actually a lot of really good pickups there. Horizontal slash is a great ability, another aerial dodge, and master form. All of them are super, super nice. More torn pages. I don't know if those are oh, hi. Okay. Also bye.
Hi, bye. I think that was the reflect. Oh yeah, remember we do have remove damage cap on.
Yeah, we did remove damage cap. So this game typically has damage floors and damage caps. So there's a minimum amount of damage and a maximum amount of damage that you can do in any given fight. Something that we've done partially just to make this a little bit more stream and event friendly is we've removed the damage cap. That way, in case this does end up being a really, really terrible seed, we always have that thing to fall back on, which is we can just go level and get buff. Because sometimes these seeds can be mean. They can be absolutely nasty. They can give you 0 tools. And, you know, you've seen some of these fights, and a lot of them have looked easier than they otherwise would be in the vanilla game. But some of these are also going to be a lot harder than they are in the vanilla game. It's really all random. So, okay, Rose is doing quite a lot here. This is like major multitasking. So you'll notice she got herself down below half health. That activates experience boost. So every time she kills any of these strafers, she's gonna get double the experience she otherwise would. Another thing that she did, she went to Valor form. So she just picked up Valor form, and now she's going to be leveling Valor form right here. She's already got Valor form to level 4. We've got an XP multiplier on those to make form leveling a little bit faster than it otherwise is. Now we're gonna do a little bit of magnet, a little bit of finishing plus, a little bit of fire, a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
I'm gonna play this really safe because I don't have second chance and I don't have once more. I got a good amount of levels off of that. I don't really feel like dying, especially since I have Valor at 4, and Valor is probably the most annoying form to level.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, we're gonna do more.
Some form levels, some Sora levels, and then also now she's just progressing through the world, and so she's going to get checks from progressing through the world.
Granted, this world is dead. Again, it could still have some good stuff here. It could have like a world unlocking item. Like it could have the ice cream for TT3. It could have the membership card to unlock Hollow Bastion 2. It could have the Proud Fang to unlock, you know, Pride Lands 2. So doing this is actually a really good idea. Though this world can't have a proof, it could still have these other items that will help later on.
Yeah. Yeah, experience boost works on its half HP or lower. 50% or low. It's not critical. I don't remember exactly what the tooltip says in this game, and I don't know if they changed it at all between the original release and FM. But I certainly remember growing up thinking I had to be at critical HP. But nope.
I believe
it's, be,
it's 50 or less.
Yep, it's just 50% or less. I think the tooltip just says low HP. I don't know if it specifies specifically 50%, and so I think a lot of us kind of assumed that meant critical HP, which I think is a totally reasonable assumption. What is a proof? That's a great question. So there are 3 proofs. There's the proof of connection, non-existence, and peace. And those are the 3 most important items in this randomizer because we cannot beat the game until we have all 3 of them. Once we have all 3 of them, that'll unlock the door at the end of the world that never was, so we can go into final fights.
Actually, yeah. Nah. Yeah. I know where I'm going, actually. I was like, do I want to be here? No, maybe. So, yeah, let's.
Yeah, I was thinking about Pride Lands.
Yeah, because we can easily do Scar with the Reflect. I've done it without the Reflect, and it's terrible, but it's doable. However, I believe I had a second chance or once more when I did that. So I really want to get this fight done, especially since this one world is pointing to all the proofs.
So I have a quick question. What do y'all do on your streams? I mean, I know there's probably Kingdom Hearts 2, but what else are y'all up to nowadays?
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, we've both definitely gotten hooked on that game.
Oh yeah.
I'm only streaming if I need to stream for a tournament or something. But Rose here is an actual streamer.
Please. My schedule is up and about right now because I work full time. But I miss streaming a lot. And whenever I do stream, yeah, it's mostly Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer, or it is Final Fantasy 14. I'll do like a rando and then jump into Final Fantasy 14 afterwards. Can you hit me, please? Hit my Reflect. Thank you.
my anger.
Okay, I was trying.
Yeah, you can see this fight is definitely pretty annoying, especially what we were talking about earlier, the fact that Rose only has base reflect, and so it's actually really hard to trigger that reflect to go off sometimes.
Okay, and then Simba messed up that.
Simba.
Cool. Ooh.
Hey.
Ooh.
All right.
Okay.
That's good.
I'll take second chance. That's really nice. So, now I won't die, hopefully, in some fights coming up, but there's still more on Pride Lands, and we do not have that unlocked.
No,
okay.
we'll need the Proud Fang. We can't go back yet.
It's okay, though. We'll get there eventually. I could do something that I feel like some people are waiting for. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta do some other stuff first.
Wow, the bait and switch?
Oh, don't worry, y'all. I'm a little nervous about this, not gonna lie, but we have horizontal slash, so this should be fine.
Pituro, you can go to kh2rando.com. That's the number 2. The letter K, the letter H, the number 2, rando.com. And that will have basically everything. Anything that's not there that you need, it'll have a link to get to what you need. And we have another Organization 100 member. I love his eye patch. This is also one that I find hilariously appropriate.
Thank you, Goofy. I'm just trying to get him down to a good amount of HP.
Items to unlock world visits, you can randomize them in the pool of items, or you can choose to automatically start with them. It's up to you. So for today's run, we decided to randomize them into a pool, make things a little bit more difficult, but you can also just start with the items and then you don't have to worry about finding them.
Okay.
Oh, his RV is probably too high.
Doesn't matter, he's dead. First try.
Nice Zigbar there. What's your strength set at right now?
32.
32. So that's level 1 damage.
Yeah.
or maybe just above level 1 damage.
I think level 1 damage is actually, I think it's 30. Like, I think that's like the, bottom right there is 30.
Zigbar?
I'm pretty positive.
Oh, here, 32 is the floor. So you're doing the, when you were in final form, you're probably doing a little bit more damage. But not a ton. Yeah, we've added in...
Speak of final.
Yeah, Omega Weapon and Alpha Weapon have been added as Keyblades that come along with Master Form and Final Form. Alpha Weapon looks just like KH1 Ultima Weapon, which is my favorite. And Omega Weapon, which comes with Final Form, looks just like the KH3 Ultima Weapon. So in addition to the people that we've got working on making the game functional and adding features and things, we've also got some people just making it look good and making it look cool and fun, and all these different cosmetic mods that we've got. I play with a cosmetic mod that makes me play as Roxas the whole time. It makes me look like I'm playing as Roxas. All the abilities are the same. It's just a cosmetic.
I need it. I haven't gotten it yet. I need it. You'd be surprised, considering how much of a Roxas fangirl I am, how I don't have that. What's wrong with me?
Is the loser.
Okay. I never can get that right.
I hate when that happens.
Okay, this is fine now. Luckily, my magic stat is 43, so I should be able to get rid of these cards with a single reflect, even if it's a baby reflect. Yes. Oh. Okay.
Oh, I think you missed that one.
I think I was just slightly off.
Yeah.
No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to touch me.
That's right, chat. It's a rabbit. Yes, and the earrings. He still has Luxord's earrings. which show up very well. He's got those nice big old ears.
Oh yeah, I actually just noticed those yesterday when we were doing practice scenes. I was like, the earrings.
Hey, chat, do you have any ideas? What's your lore reason for why Rabbit is our card master? I always love hearing what people
say. Gonna be a DM.
Replace the Pooh characters. Replace the Pooh characters with Organization 13. Oh gosh, we need that. We need it the other way around.
I'm just gonna go ahead and let this DM. I don't have limit, and I don't have Trinity limit. I don't trust myself.
Honestly, like, I think even if you could DM skip here, it wouldn't be any faster.
No.
It's pretty slow.
My strength stat is... I'm at 37 for my strength because I killed some nobodies, but...
Do you know the rules?
I've gotten a lot more risky with that last 0, too. I'm really proud of myself for doing that. I'm just hoping that we'll find a proof soon. We still haven't found one.
Yeah. We're looking at the worlds that can't have proofs or locations that can have proofs are levels, drive forms, Twilight Town, Simulated Twilight Town, Halloween Town, and the world that never was. So those are the only locations we've got. Those 6.
Feel it, the moon's power.
And 2 of them could be in the same place. We don't know.
We will find out. Okay, I shouldn't have gotten hit there, but that's fine. It's fine. We have a good amount of defense, I guess.
And look who this sad little boy is. He just, you know, he broods a little bit.
Wish I had Slapshot. Slapshot here would be so much fun.
Yeah. You know what else would be nice? If Donald and Goofy didn't immediately die.
Yeah, I could go into final form here. But now I have to deal with the DM. Not DM, but Moon shine down. It's okay.
I misjudged you.
Yeah, nice little trick we use there is you grab the Claymore just before he goes berserk, and then you can just immediately knock him out of it. Requires timing. The timing's a little bit tricky on that. Definitely takes some time to learn properly.
Yeah, because the Claymores will disappear after a certain amount of time, and if they disappear, you obviously can't use them. But once you pick them up, they also have like a time limit as to when you could use the actual Claymore reaction command.
Are Donald and Goofy only used for drive forms, basically? There are a few scenarios where they're more helpful than that. Oh, and limits, yeah.
I don't know. I don't actually like
limits. Them. We don't like them in their normal form.
Okay. Well, I'll take... wait, no. I don't have experience boost on right now. Because I switched Keyblades. It's okay. It's okay. No. We're going to switch it back.
Yeah, definitely switch to it, though.
Oh, yeah. Sorcerers.
Yeah. No.
Getting some levels here, also leveling up final form ever so slightly. We have it at level 4 right now.
We're just gonna play it real safe here. It is so easy to die in this room.
Ooh,
also, I know you picked up Second Chance. Did you actually put it on?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Ooh, and another finishing plus. See, Second Chance will save you from 1 hits, while Once More will save you from combo hits.
Right.
Took me forever to actually understand that that's how it... Hi, Pooh Bear. How are you?
And if you were wondering who Xemnas was going to be, kind of obvious, right? Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, of course. Who else would it be?
Yeah. Who else would it be? Oh, that's great. Sir Pooh Bear over here. Wait, does he get replaced for the final Xemnas too? I never actually paid attention.
He does.
I don't think so. He does?
He does.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah. We will have final Pooh.
Final Pooh. That sounds very Never mind. Okay. Okay, I might die here.
Oh,
cool.
nice.
I remembered I didn't have Trinity limit.
Yeah. Normally, we'll stand there, we'll throw a few reflects out to get that damage, and then go into a Trinity limit for the invincibility frames. But Rose doesn't have Trinity limit. The other nice sort of invincibility frame thing that you can do as Sora all by his lonesome is go into limit form, which Rose also does not have. So, remember when I was talking earlier about some things being easier or some things being harder on Rando? This is why. You know, sometimes you're just missing those crucial tools.
It's okay. I didn't die. Our death counter is still at 2, which it should be 0, but it's at 2, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, you've done actually a really good job. You took 1 death early in LOD. Where was the second one? I don't remember that one.
Prison Keeper?
Yeah,
Prison Keeper, because I remember I was like, oh, I'll just go straight into Final Form. Oh, great. There's something on Data Zenith.
Oh, no. I think you mean Data Winnie.
Wait, really?
Yeah, there's something on Data Zenith.
So, yeah. The way this seed is looking, I feel like there's a fair chance that we're going to need it. But
we'll see.
But we'll see. Yeah, y'all might see Data Zemnis today. That is very much in the realm of possibilities.
Okay, so Final Form is completely leveled up now. I have no idea where to go for Master. Oh, actually, you know what? No, we can go down here for Master Form.
Yeah.
We can go into Wizard's Room.
Mm-hmm. So, historically, in KH2 Rando, the best place to level Master Form was with the gamblers in the TT3 mansion. But you'll notice that we don't have the ice cream, and there's still that little lock icon over Twilight Town, which means Rose can't go there. Historically speaking, the second best place to level Master... Oh, wow, there's a glide on Master 2.
I will take it. I'll take a glide.
Historically speaking, the second best place to level Master Form is on the drive orbs in Core, the Cavern of Remembrance in Hollow Bastion. But if you look over at Hollow Bastion, you'll notice there's a little lock icon on that one as well, because we haven't found the membership card. So we've got to go backups on backups on backups.
Yeah, this is the fun. Oh my goodness!
The ice cream!
Let's go! I'm going!
Okay.
I'm going! Oh my gosh!
All right, that is a...
Master Form, thank you.
That is such a great pickup.
Oh, that was so nice. I'm so glad that I leveled that there. So now we can go into Twilight Town 3.
TT3 has a lot of checks, and then the mansion is also a fabulous place to level your forms. So it is a super, super juicy place. You would see an early TT3 push by players for a very long time. But with the world locking items, that's been harder and harder because you need to find 2 very specific items to get there. So,
I'm really glad that we did find picture early, though. Getting picture early was really, really nice. And then, that Master Form grinding. I'm glad that I did that.
Yep. Yeah, that was a really good idea.
Just, let's have something here, please. Don't leave me dry, TT3.
Yeah.
Okay. We still have Mansion. We still have the Nobody fight at Mansion, which I will try to experience boost that. So second chance, I can take 1 shot. Easy. Okay.
You can hear Rose planning and figuring this out. Okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? What's going to go in here? What tools do I have? What tools don't I have? That is what goes on with Rando. Because it's random, the tools that you have are random, and you're gonna have to improv a lot. and you've got to think on the fly and just sort of figure out, what I've got.
Disney Castle has all paths to the light. All right, I guess I'm going to be pushing Disney next.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
I don't like that, but you know what? It's fine. I'll go to DC after I pick up everything in TT.
Connection in TT seems pretty plausible. I agree.
I agree with that.
Right now, we've got two worlds that are potentially pointing to TT. Drive forms have the ice cream. The ice cream unlocks Twilight Town 3. Therefore, the ice cream will point to Twilight Town. And then we've also got the picture from Pride Lands. And so it could be pointing there.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, hey, there it is.
We got our first proof, you guys. Let's go. Can we get some Rose Cure 1 booties in the chat if we haven't already been spamming it? I'm looking at you, chat.
I am happy to inform you that over the course of your run, there's been a healthy amount of Rose Cure 1 booty in the chat.
Yay! That makes me
happy.
on it. I'm very proud of you guys. Thank you. We did get another blizzard too, so that's really nice.
Yeah, the little line on the tracker is that is the most recent. Oh my goodness, explosion! That is deep for explosion.
That's annoyingly deep for explosion. All right, I'm gonna go level master to 5 just so that I have it leveled.
Blizzard, you're still not done.
Yeah,
might be
that means
in between. Might be data axle.
Which I can do data axle now since I have like all my tools for it, except for slide dash. I don't have slide dash, but I have explosion.
Explosion, flash step, finishing plus, a thunder. Some good stuff for that. Sure.
I'm actually just gonna go ahead and push it because I have my final form leveling spot in the world that never was, and it's not a bad play here, honestly.
Ooh, can the rando put items behind the puzzles? It can.
Yes.
We've turned that off today. But that is an option that you can enable. So it yeah.
I'm putting
well, the number was
on.
Can't have the proof. I think it can. Yeah.
I think so. There's nothing that says that it can't have the proof. Not yet, at least.
Oh, actually, hold up. No. It can't have the proof. And here's why. And this is where it gets tricky, and this is where the deeper knowledge comes in. And this is stuff that I'm just learning. So we have 3 different places that are pointing to non-existence, and we have 3 different places that are pointing to peace. Which means that we're gonna find 3 distinct items that point to the proof of non-existence. We're going to have 3 different items that point to the proof of peace. What vanilla checks do we find? What vanilla checks do we find in the world that never was? Just 1 magnet, and there are only 2 magnets left.
Oh.
Yeah, so we have too many hints out there.
See, you go way too deep into it. This is why I'm glad that you're here, because I wouldn't have thought about that.
Listen, I'm telling you, I had the hyperbolic time chamber training this weekend.
You're great. But you're not wrong. You are not wrong.
We got so deep with it, and we learned so much this weekend. This weekend was probably the first big tourney that had path hints. And so we learned a lot over the course of this tourney.
Oh, that tourney was definitely eye-opening for me. Being able to just sit in the chat and actually understand kind of what was going on and able to start piecing stuff together really helped me with learning these hints as well. Like I said, the more you use them, the more it's going to make sense later on. And it really helped.
Yeah, it comes with practice, just like anything else. You know, you practice it, you mess around with it. Or 2 tourneys with Pathans? Yeah, but this weekend, Zach, was a big one.
Yeah.
It was a big tourney, and we had everybody show up for that one. We also saw some super, super big brain plays.
I'm just hoping to get some other abilities here. Because there's like no reason for me to be here, but Spooky Cave is kind of huge. So
yeah,
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna grab everything and hope that I get something useful. Like slide dash. Slide dash would be really nice.
Slide dash would be really nice. Reflect. Could find another reflect.
Yeah, definitely could find another reflect, actually.
Let's see. So World That Never Was is dead.
I guess I can actually mark that on the tracker that World That Never Was is dead.
Halloween Town is the other magnet world, but it also has Bone Fist. So it's not necessarily dead.
No, it's not. I think my next stop, I don't know where I'm going. Don't ask. Don't ask. I don't know what my next stop should be.
You did Oogie, right?
Oh,
hey.
Oh, hello.
Do it. Do it.
You never know, actually. We might as well, because we don't know what's up there. It could be another reflect. Or it could be a thunder. It could be something that's useful to us. Right. It could be another report, too. With more information. Oh, that might be smart. Oh, buddy, let's go.
Nice.
Okay.
So you can actually jump over the loading triggers for the bees here. But it's a little bit tricky because you still have to stay close enough to all the 100 Acre Wood characters that they still follow you. So that's why Rose kind of like jumps into the air and then just very slowly taps square to get over.
Everything that's in TT doesn't... Okay, we knew that already. We knew all of those already. Okay.
Which report was that real quick?
That was report 13.
Thank you.
Of course.
It is time.
It is time.
I mean, we have to. We have to.
You might notice something a little different here, chat.
Oh, that was so close.
And almost perfect score, too.
I had to. So that was worth it. I will take that gladly.
Worth.
Very worth. Oh, that was so perfect. All right, might as well do this now. For those of you who don't know who I am Rose Carroll, the bear yeeter. So that's like a normal on my channel for me to do.
Since Shananas/Eat the Bear came out, it's in Open Cage visual mods if you want that one. But yeah, we had we've got a community member that loves to make silly, ridiculous mods.
They're great.
And that is one of them. That is one of the mods that he made. He switched the pot and the bear.
So it was literally Yeet the Bear.
Yes.
Oh, it was so good.
We had some complaints, you know? We call it Yeet the Bear, but the bear doesn't get yeeted, the pot gets yeeted. And so we thought, well, that has to be changed. You know, we gotta fix this.
Yeah. It had to be changed. It had to be the actual Yeet the Bear. Like, it doesn't make sense in not having it be Yeet the Bear. So now it is actually Yeet the Bear. I wish I could get one more high jump. I hate high jump max, but I love high jump 3. It just feels so weird to only have high jump 2 right now.
Wait, did I miss something on my tracker? Oh, you got Bone Fist and Hollow Bastion. I don't have that on my tracker.
Oh.
There we go.
Hydrate check.
Oh, definitely. I think that's the best thing to ever happen to Kingdom Hearts 2 Randomizer. I mean, having swap bosses is cool and all, but have you ever actually yeeted the bear?
Yeah, it's great. I love it.
So we got what's called membership card.
Oh, thank goodness.
That, and Halloween Town is now officially done. Number turned blue. We have no more important checks in that world. We found membership card, which means we can actually come into the second visit of Hollow Bastion now, which means we can actually clear this world in its entirety if we need to, including 1000 Heartless, Data Demix, Sephiroth, and even going all the way to the end of Core, which doubtful. But if I need to do it, obviously
it might be necessary. Yeah. So if we haven't been able to get any of these checks until just now. We can now get all of this and get all these checks, do all this content. It's been locked
for the last 2 hours.
The membership card, proof of your membership of the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee.
That's actual canon, by the way. I don't know if anybody plays Kingdom Hearts 2 for the story, but I just... Oh, look at that high jump. Plays Kingdom Hearts 2 for the story, but yes, that is canon. Remember how I said, like, literally 2 minutes ago, hey, I really wish that I had high jump for 3 right now, and I got it. I'm very happy about that. Makes me very happy. Ew, aerial finish. I'm not a big fan of aerial finish.
Nah.
So, Rose, what else do you want to wish for? Is there anything out there that you would like to wish for?
For the seed?
Well, I mean, if you can make things to come to fruition, I'm thinking that this could extend beyond the seed, you know? I'm just saying.
I want everybody to, like, if I'm being, like, dead serious, like, about what I want to be able to spread happiness and have hate stop being a thing. I want everybody to just treat each other with kindness because there's not enough kindness in this world. And I know that, like, seems probably like something that a lot of people say, but after like being able to spread kindness through like my community and my community spreading it back, it's the most amazing feeling in the world. So if I could have anything in the world, it's just spread kindness, spread love, stop the hate. There's no reason to hate each other. It's just so bad. Like I never want to see hate, rather. Is probably the better option. Like, stand up for those that are getting hated on, all that jazz. And mental health. Take care of your mental health. That's another big one too. I want everybody to be able to take care of their mental health no matter how expensive it is. Like, if I could help everybody in the world, I would. Oh man, I'm starting to tear up from this. I'm sorry.
Yeah, if y'all don't know Rose has such a big heart. I found Rose through the Kingdom Hearts community, and I'm like, hey, this person seems pretty neat. And I eventually found out, by the way, this is a thing you can do. Found out that Rose is such a sweet person with such a great community. And when you've got a community leader who is so kind and so thoughtful and so loving, the entire community behaves that way. And so it's been like so great being friends with Rose and being a part of Rose's community and the Kingdom Hearts community. So.
I'm actually crying.
Oh, I thought that was a very sweet answer.
Oh, I agree. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for the community showing me like love and all that jazz, like I make a lot of like jokes on my stream and stuff and all that jazz, but like deep down, like Hale said, like I feel like I have a really big heart. I want to be able to help everybody that I possibly can. Okay, Magnet Burst, why you gotta be there? Why you gotta be there? In core. But I would be like such a different person if it wasn't for my community and being able to actually be on Twitch. So being introduced to Twitch back in like 2014 was probably one of the biggest turning points of my life, because I was a pretty close off person. I didn't really like anybody before like I really came to Twitch. So it feels like my life turned a complete 180 when I actually got into streaming and meeting people. So yeah. I don't want to go super deep into like past and stuff, but oh my gosh. Whew. I'm good. Y'all are amazing. If you haven't heard that, stay. You just heard it. You are amazing. You are loved. Spread that love. Spread that kindness. Everybody deserves it.
So, we were too busy being happy. But Rose just did what we call core skip, Cavern of Remembrance skip. So there's a little ledge where you can... No, don't be sorry. Look, if I thought talking about core skip was more important, then I would have cut you off or something. But no. This is just... Let's just be happy and enjoy. We're here to have a good time. We're here to have fun, you know? But there's a place where two ledges meet where you can clip out of bounds, and then you jump across a gap, and what it does is it lets you access all of the chests and core without having to do... the big things it skips are, it skips both fights.
Dance, water, dance.
So the core Heartless fights are really nasty. We're seeing our good friend Piglet here again, by the way. So it lets you skip both of those fights. One thing, though, is you have to do those fights to remove an invisible wall at the very end. So there is one chest at the very end of core that Rose was unable to pick up. So kind of the common play is to hope that it's not there, and you go back and get it if you need to. It's not too big. It's not too big a deal. Just missing one chest. So very clean.
I'm trying to breathe, trying to calm my nerves and everything, because that was a big emotional thing for me. And it's fine. Everything is fine.
Are you gonna auto wisdom this? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
I was like, do I tell him yes or do I say no? I should have taken all of my armor off.
Taking the armor. That's fine. You'll get there.
This is just gonna take a little bit longer, and the security
Are you
system
serious?
is too strong. It's okay. We'll do this now, and we can just go in here. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine.
So there's a strong chance that... Actually, I think both proofs have to be on forms.
I think so. At this point, I'm pretty positive that the proofs are on forms. So that's why I'm auto-wisdoming here.
Yeah, so we need to level the forms. But Rose hasn't found wisdom form yet. However, Rose has found auto-wisdom. So if she gets herself down to critical health, she can use a reaction command to go into wisdom form. And one of the quirks of Randomizer is...
Proof of peace.
Oh, there's one right there.
Okay. That's good. That's really good.
That's really good. Yeah, one of the quirks of Randomizer is it'll let you use wisdom form through these fights because it breaks up Demix and
once
FF
more.
Fights. Okay, once more. I like it. There's a lot.
And a combination boost. Okay.
Also pretty nice.
So now we're just needing to get into limit form, which we could probably do in the 1K fight now.
Yeah, you could auto limit there.
Yeah, at this point, I might as well do as much auto form leveling as I can, because it's pretty likely that this last group is also going to be in forms.
Yeah, if I did all of my logic correctly, that's the only place that's left.
Mm-hmm.
So that also means that if we do need to, we're going to be looking for the forms, right? So we're looking for the proofs, and we were able to rule out locations with proofs. Now we need to kind of come back and say, okay, but which of these locations can have forms? So Disney Castle, we know doesn't have a proof, but it could have a form. So it might still be necessary. Pride Lands is the same way. Pride Lands might have a form. Hollow Bastion might have another form.
Oh, Proud Fang, Feather Charm, Slapshot,
Proud Fang,
and a combo plus. Okay. Well, Slapshot's really, really nice. I'm gonna put this on before I forget because I will forget. Put on the reaction boost. Cool.
Right. Yeah, what Jada said, Data Xemnas cannot have a form because if it did have a form, then it would say that it's on the path to peace because we've already found the proof of peace here. So fortunately for Rose, unfortunately for Chet, we're not going to see Data Xemnas.
I mean, I could do it anyway. I mean...
Careful what you say. You gotta be,
honestly,
you gotta be careful about that.
Xemnas, though. This is not that fun. All right, what do I do here? I'm gonna go into auto limit.
Auto limit.
Yeah. I can get there. One more hit. There we go.
Yeah. So what Rose did with Wisdom Form earlier, she's gonna do the same thing here with Limit Form. And Limit Form has a built-in MP Rage, which is nice. So if she does end up taking a hit there, it'll give her a little bit of magic back. So she can use more of those limits, get more of that experience.
I wish I did not take my my armor back off. I put it back on.
Yeah, I mean, probably safer, honest. Because if you get... hello.
No! My gosh! The game just really wants me to use Snag. Alright. Okay, cool, that works.
Yeah, I think
that was
we have to have a form in DC, and I think we have to have a form in Pride Land.
Okay, give me strength. Back off.
But we may or may not need those. If we can get it from auto forms, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can, hold on. Let me do the thing. Let me do the thing. Thank you.
They're bullying you.
I don't think this is gonna work, but there we go.
Ah, there you go. Yeah, Magnera's a little bit tougher to get them in.
I think I can get one more round of limit.
Which is good.
No, I don't want to snag. There we go.
You're at limit 4 right now. You can get to limit 5.
Yeah, limit 5 would be like ideal here, which is another reason why I'm taking my time with this. Circle of Life. I'm not singing it. For those of you who do not know, I normally will sing the very beginning of its Circle of Life whenever I find the Circle of Life. But as of right now, like, no, we're good. We don't need to hear that.
And then we go back to casual strat, the speedrun strat, which is find a buddy and sparkle ray your way to victory.
Steve. His name is Steve.
Steve.
I'm pretty sure that it's Steve. I think that the other ones are. I'm not sure. Maybe Bob. I think that the soldiers are Bob. I'm not 100%, but I know that this is Steve. The speedrunning community has deemed it Steve, so it's Steve.
Oh goodness.
Okay, speedrunning community is great. Get rid of it. Okay, that's rude. I was about to say, please don't let me die to like the last thing. Okay, yeah, it's in forms. It has to be in forms. That has to be forms because that report says Olympus is a path to all lights, so it's in forms. Okay, which means we definitely do need to find at least one more form, which
I'd probably finish up DC-verse? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's merit to both plays here. And this is kind of a decision that you go through a lot with Rando. So Disney Castle has more checks left before like your super bosses, right? So there's a higher probability that you find the form before you have to do things like Marluxia and Terra, which ideally we'd like to try to avoid. On the other hand, Pride Lands, we've already cleared the entire first visit. All you have left is Hyenas 2, Ground Shaker, and Data Syx, which means you're going to finish that world pretty quickly no matter what. And so you could potentially just say, well, you know, I can guarantee myself that form by going there now. And so it's, you know, it's up in the air.
I'm just trying to figure out, like, if this is a better play, since we have it all completely unlocked for Pride Lands 2. But if I had to push it all the way to Data Syx, then I'm going to have to, like, actually level grind.
Yeah, no double negative combo cheese, and you still don't have Peter Pan.
I do have Pan.
Oh, you do have it? I missed that, too.
I don't have Aerial Spiral.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Yeah, if I had Aerial Spiral, I'd be fine.
That's just gross. So Data Syx is going to be a really tricky fight with Rose's current tools.
Which is fine.
I like this play too, because Disney Castle is a really good form leveling spot. Leveling Valor and Wisdom and Limit here it's all really easy.
Granted, we already have everything leveled as far as we can, but we will have it now for later.
Yeah. Bonk. Just one bonk was all it took. Yeah, you're definitely seeing the effects of the remove damage cap at this point. This is what happens when you do as much damage as you want to do instead of how much damage the game wants you to do.
I love remove damage cap. It is something that I like to have on. I like to feel extremely overpowered.
It's a good time.
To say the least, I am like a DPS person in like video games. So me do damage is a yes. Okay, man. You're not gonna throw, or you're not gonna bowling ball me. I'm not gonna worry about it. Oh, there he is. But not gonna worry about it now. Too far away. I wish I had slide dash.
Yes.
What is that camera?
I don't know what happened there.
Okay, this is fine.
Get out of my way!
Oh, come on.
All right.
Please.
So it's not on either of these get bonuses. There are two pop-ups. One which is originally monochrome and one which is originally wisdom form.
Limit form.
Limit form. Okay.
All right. I'm going to take the gamble. I'm going to go level the forms to 6. But there's still more in DC.
There is more in DC. It can't be wisdom form. Wisdom form has to be in Pride Lands.
Yeah. So we know something's in DC, but we don't know what. Do I have? Okay, I do. I'm just gonna take some more experience too, just in case like we do have to go to Pride Lands and push it all the way to like Data Syx. I could get like a little bit stuff here. Okay, I didn't think that was gonna kill it. Okay, it's fine.
You just got the one experience boost, right?
Yeah, I only have one, sadly.
Aw, that's annoying. So there is a second experience boost in the game. Fortunately, Rose wasn't able to find it. Would have made it this a little quicker, but still pretty fast. As I mentioned, there are XP multipliers for forms. Form grinding is notoriously slow. in the vanilla game. So we've got multipliers between ×3 and ×10 for some of them. Fowler is so horrendously slow. So that one's got a ×10 multiplier on it. And it still feels kind of slow sometimes.
Yeah. It gets slow like in the later levels. Because you have to kill so many more things. But then now we also have the option to put like the day on them, like dawn, dusk, midday, which is still, my brain cannot seem to fathom how that.
Let's go.
Alrighty.
So
Give me
this is
something
our
good.
this is our classic master leveling spot.
Oh my god, we're done!
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh my gosh, let's go!
God bless.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I gotta do a little bit of menu prep because I only have Baby Reflect. So
Yeah, Baby Reflect is going to be a little bit annoying here, but
I'll make do. It'll be fine, but it's gonna suck a little bit. Good there. There.
TT3, Wisdom 3, and Master 6 were our 3 proof locations for this seed. That definitely could have been nasty. But fortunately, Rose was pretty diligent about leveling her forms and taking advantage of things like the auto forms, and kind of, spreading out her plays instead of trying to force something to happen. And it paid off. We're looking at, somewhere between a 215 and a 220, probably.
Oh, really?
Somewhere in that realm. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. Final Fights is 5 to 10 minutes, depending on what you've got.
I haven't really been paying attention to the clock, so. And I don't have my own timer running, so I didn't realize that we're already at that like time.
Yeah, you're at about 214 right now.
Oh wow! So this could be a 220.
If you look at Rose's tracker and see just how much content she's had to do, she has full cleared most of these worlds. She had to dip into second visits for a lot of them. She yeeted the bear. Was it necessary? No. But was it necessary?
Yes. Yes.
That's why when you had told me, you had told me 3 hours, and I'm thinking to myself, no way, that's going to be under 3.
These can be nasty.
The reason why I kept it at 3 hours was because Zach is an extremely good player. And the fact that he did this seed in 2 hours and 40 minutes made me worry in potentially going over 3 hours. So I was like, okay, let's hope that this doesn't go to 3 hours. And I think we just got really lucky.
Ooh, and Zach said he didn't use auto forms. When he was running this. Yeah, so that would have been another. So he had to go out and find Wisdom form wherever that was. Yeah. Oh man. You left the timer running when you had to do something?
Yeah, that's true too. He did tell me that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, it's tough. It's tough to put a time estimate on these rando seeds. It is. I mean, I think the first time you practiced with these settings, you had like data Larkscene and data Zemnis, or there's like multiple datas that you had to do or something.
I'm pretty positive, yeah.
It was gross. I remember you telling me about it.
Bad seed. It was terrible.
Oh, I love this strat so much.
Y'all like that the final gauntlet's in here, or do you feel like there should be a setting in the future where it just picks 4 random bosses for the end throughout the whole game? I feel like that would be kind of cool.
That would be really fun, actually.
So that is one of the neat things about boss rando, is when you do boss rando, Final Xemnas stays as Final Xemnas, but Armored Xemnas 1 and Armored Xemnas 2 get replaced. And that is always very interesting, to say the least.
Nothingness is eternal.
Yeah, if y'all could post turtles in the chat. We like to spam turtles here, because it sounds like he's saying nothingness is a turtle, or nothingness is e-turtle.
Oh, I thought that was actually going to hit me. Okay, let's see here.
Another format that somebody came up with was called Meet the Datas, where instead of doing final fights as your win condition, you get the 3 proofs and you go beat a data from a world where you got a proof. So for instance, in this seed, we got proof of connection in Twilight Town. So Data Axel might be your win condition. Get the 3 proofs and then defeat Data Axel, for instance. So people have come up with all sorts of ways to play this. If one place feels stale, if they just want to try something out. We've got a hit list where you're given a list of super bosses, and you have to take out a certain number of them. We've got Boss Hunter Bingo, which is played on Boss Enemy Rando, and you have a bingo card of bosses, so you have to hunt them down. You have to find them, first off, and then go take them out. So people have come up with all sorts of ways to play this, because, frankly, we just love this randomizer, and we love it in any and every form. Also, here is our final Winnie the Pooh. Yeah, unfortunately, the baby reflects not hitting. It's too small. If she had Reflera, then those reflects would be doing a lot of damage to him.
And we're going to get ready on time coming up here. Maybe. Should.
It'll be close. I think you get it.
I get it here. Yeah. Time.
Just over 220. Congratulations, GG, Rose.
Oh my
Nicely
gosh.
done.
I honestly did not think that was going to be that below estimate. So, played really, really well besides those 2 minuscule deaths early.
Yeah, 2 deaths is pretty good. Especially since Second Chance and Once More didn't happen until very late in the seed.
Yeah, on Scar, I think. Scar and
then
Wisdom
4 or 5.
I think it was Wisdom 4. Might have been Wisdom 5. I didn't equip it until after Final Fantasy fights, though. So it doesn't really matter. It was on Wisdom something. So that was a really good seed, though. Wow.
Yeah, and Rose actually, she wasn't just dealing damage at the end. She was kind of budgeting her damage properly so that she could skip his final laser dome. The randomizer removes the necessity for that, and so you can kill him early.
Yeah, it makes it a lot more fun being able to actually skip that laser dome. Like Hale just said, you can only do that in Rando. You can't do that in,
You cannot do that in the base game.
Exactly. And it's super cool. The first time that I think people got that, it was like, whoa, wait, you can do that? And it was just so funny. It was great. And yeah, no, this was definitely a fun run. I would love to do another one of these sometime, actually. That was a good seed. I don't think I could have picked a better seed.
That was a pretty good run, yeah.
So, do y'all have any shout-outs that you would like to do before we wrap up here?
You want to go first, Kale?
Sure. I just want to shout out the entire KH2 Rando community. They are super awesome, and there are dozens of people that have put work into the tracker, making hint systems, making cosmetic mods, making quality of life mods, fixing bugs, helping people. There are way more people than I could ever properly thank. KH2rando.com is the first hub location to get started. If you want to learn more about the randomizer, or even just get updates on when things are happening. KH2rando.com has links to the downloads. It's got information and resources about the game, about the hit system. We've recently added a synthesis randomizer. And so there are guides on where to effectively and efficiently synth grind. And of course, there's a link to the official KH2 Rando Discord, where you can find me, Rose, and everybody else in the community.
Yeah, basically, kind of same. Definitely need to go ahead and shout out the community. Thank you so much. It's funny, actually. I started doing data zen this while you were talking, so now I'm focusing on this. But I want to give a huge shout out to you, Kale, for being so supportive and being like one of the most amazing people I could ever ask to come in here and do this for, because you were the first person on my brain. And I was just like, I think you would have a blast being able to do this. So.
Well, I did have a blast. This has been so much fun.
Yeah, no, it was great having you. Like I said, like, I don't think I could, I've said like way too much, by the way, so just so everybody knows. But I don't think there were a couple other people on my brain, but Kale was definitely the first. And yes. But huge shout outs to the Kingdom Hearts community, the Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer community, to the Rose Grove. You guys are fantastic, especially from what I've heard about y'all spamming Rose Cure 1 booty out there. I am just so thankful to have you guys, and thankful to have you guys a part of this thing where I'm dying constantly to data zen this. So that's fun.
And
nobody.
And a huge thank you to Sky and Richard and Ray and GDQ Tech for having us on. Thanks for having us on. Thanks for helping us get set up and everything. Rose and I have been so excited about this for ever since you asked, basically.
Oh yeah.
And so it's just been so much fun. So thank you.
No, yeah, thank you so much for having us. I feel very, very lucky that you asked me.
Absolutely, and again, just great job on the seat. I cannot believe how quickly it was done. Let's hear it one more time for Rose, by the way, y'all. Please be sure to give Rose a follow. That is twitch.tv/Rose, CUREL. So again, if you're listening on YouTube, follow the runner, twitch.tv/Rose, as in the flower, and Curl, CUREL. So I'll give you till the end of this attempt, Rose, and we'll see what happens here. And then
if you want to, no worries. I'm probably not going to be able to last too long. 1 HP with a data zenness over here. We'll see. Let's see here.
We're doing not so much damage here, which means this requires, very, very good execution. Also, you still never found Trinity Limit, did you?
No, I did not.
Let's see. Trinity Limit was, looks like it was PR2. I've got the spoiler log pulled up now.
I'm gonna get hit by this a lot. It's fine.
And thanks, chat. for being here. They'll ask some good questions, some
Really?
good laughs. We love sharing it with you. Oh man, this guy's annoying. Yeah, guys, turns out Data Xemnas, hard boss. Who'd have thought?
Okay.
Super boss version of the final boss, difficult. Weirdly enough. Ooh, that's not a good spot.
This is for all those yeets on poo.
No, I got
Getting his
this.
revenge.
I mean, this is the stuff of nightmares right now. Look at this. It's poo.
It is. It's Winnie the Pooh spinning lightsabers of doom.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do this though, just to be super safe. Okay. I was like, please tell me that he's actually going to like let me do this.
I always forget that it happens like so much earlier in this one. Because Data Final Xemnas, it's still like 3/4 of a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, it happens at like 3 or 4.
Give me strength.
All right, so that's the first phase down,
Oh my gosh.
which means that there is a second phase, which is Data Final Xemnas. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. I also realize I have the wrong Keyblade on, so that's fun. It just had the experience boost. It's fine. It didn't do as much damage as I wanted.
Combo boost probably.
That's probably the best option. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do combo boost. Let's put on another ether because I'm out of elixirs.
Accessories aren't going to make a difference because you're going to be at level 1 stats no matter what.
Yeah, I'm at level 1 stats here. Unfortunately, I will put that on though.
Anger and hate are supreme. Be gone! Be gone!
That's a long boss meter.
Yeah. Yeah, you see how much health he's got?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of health. That is, that's one of the things that makes the data fights tricky is literally just, they have a ton of health, which means that you have to execute properly for such a long time. Been kind of an underrated thing. Oh god, baby reflect too. Ugh.
Okay, cool. I'll take the cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh, I also don't have slide dash.
No slide dash. Oh, jeez. Oh, gosh. You know, and the game
not having
expects
slide
you...
dash is really bad.
The game expects you to have every tool in the game. Right? It expects you to have every tool in the game at this point. And Rose has one reflect. Slide dash. No slide dash, rather.
I have a flash step, but no, not slide dash.
Nice, but it's not as good as slide dash here. This is a fight where you would really like to have a slide dash.
Okay. Thank you, Riku. Actually healed me.
I thought Pooh just wanted honey.
He's out for more than just honey at this point. He's out for blood.
I'm just trying to get him to do the right thing, so that I want him to do.
Yeah.
Which I messed up like the first 2 times.
There we go.
Okay. That's all I want him to do.
No, I don't think this is why Pooh got stuck in Rabbit's house. No.
Are we sure?
I mean, I'm pretty sure. You think they put Pooh in Rabbit's house so Pooh wouldn't do this again?
I don't know. I'm sure there's a backstory.
It'd be funny if you could fight this as Piglet.
Okay.
Oh no.
Although technically, if we're going by like a more video game canon, this should be Christopher Robin from Winnie the Pooh's Home Run Derby.
Oh my goodness. I hate everything. See, okay, But what happens with this community, right, is people say stuff like that, and then it just happens, right? And somebody, it's like, yo, we used to joke a lot about Data Kanga, Data Piglet. And being, you know, it's like, oh, hey, did you find the proof? Yeah, it was on Data Kanga. Well, now we actually have that, because you can mod in Kanga over Axel if you want. You can mod Piglet over Demix.
Okay. Oof. Thank you, Riku. Riku's actually doing his job.
Right? Riku being a bro. We talked earlier about Donald and Goofy like not being very helpful as party members. Riku is a very good party member.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good about healing you. He's really good about dealing damage. So it is super, super nice.
Where's Data Gopher? That would be great.
Jeez.
I would love to see that.
We don't have him yet.
No, I'm not sparing you a heart.
No, just a honey pot.
I'm just gonna be super safe.
Yeah, that's a good place to use Session.
The fact that like I'm this far in the fight, I definitely don't want to like lose it here. So I'm just gonna pop some ethers.
We've got limit form as well.
Yo, Riku being a friend over here.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying Riku is a great party member.
We shall go together.
It's a shame they never made a 2-player version of this game where someone played as Riku.
Oh, that would be so cool.
I'm gonna do this. He should be dead after this right here.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. First trying, second phase.
Wow.
Second phase. Oh. I love... Oh, and it's Chicken Little.
Oh, yeah, Chicken Little.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. He had an important check. I forgot.
Yeah, so he had Chicken Little. That's actually so funny. I would love to know where those other 2 reflects are, though.
Sure.
Like,
so the other reflects, you got the one in STT.
Mm-hmm.
Data Psyx had one of the reflects.
Of course.
And the other reflect was in the Agrabah treasure room.
Okay.
Actually just hanging out there.
That's... Oh, man. Okay, well, that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I did it with Baby Reflect.
GG's on the boss fight, though. That was awesome. All right, y'all. This is not the end of our GDQ Hotfix broadcast tonight. Coming up next tonight, we are showcasing Borderlands, the pre-sequel on aimbot, coming up next. Take it away, Amy.